4 years ago, I bought a gift certificate for my wife to a day spa here in Queens, New York. I'd heard of spas, but thought of them only as rich women's playgrounds, never realizing that they had affordable places for middle-class people like us. She works hard and loves to be pampered, so a day there seemed like a nice gift. She didn't want to go alone and asked me to come, if just for a short while. I went, and this Hungarian lady there took me into a facial. I wasn't too sure about this, but after a day of feeling sore from her poking and prodding, my skin did look better. I've never gone back for another one, but if someone else paid for it, I would. So my wife went on a trip last year to go hiking in New Jersey. She was going with a friend and needed a hotel to stay in. She discovered this place, Crystal Springs, in Vernon, New Jersey. I imagine right near the old Action Park, amusement park. A girl on the phone who gave her the reservations really undersold the place completely. She made it sound like it had a swimming pool and free HBO. Instead, it turns out to be a big, wonderful health spa for the whole family. After Bob spent the night there, she sold me on the idea of us going there for a relaxing and fun weekend. Unlike the reservations girl, Bob sold me on this place perfectly. We're not used to staying in fancy hotels, so having bellhops take your bags to your room is a treat for us. As we drove up, we saw the Great Gorge ski mountain right in the backyard of the spa. It had man-made snow for this 50-degree day, but most people seem to be enjoying the resort instead. We had a room facing the other mountains across the road, a beautiful view at any time, day or night. We wasted no time. Bob went to get her hair and nails done, and I went to the gym. Now, I work out infrequently and mostly do cardio exercises when I go, but this gym had a wide array of weights and Pilates equipment. I tried to work every muscle group, which I know is not recommended, but I only had 2 days to squeeze everything in. There were several high-definition TVs over the cardio equipment, but they were mostly tuned to business and news channels. Not a great way to lose yourself in 30 minutes. One TV was showing an old action movie, which I've seen, so instead, I was watching the other guests who are in much better shape and doing some really hard exercises. I'm always amazed at people who can balance themselves on a round ball when I have such trouble standing straight on a flat ground. After the gym, our friend Paul and I went to the indoor basketball court and shot around for a while. Both the basketball court and paddleball courts are surrounded by an overhead running track. Little space is wasted here. Then we switched into our bathing suits and headed for the pools. That's right, I said plural. The pool area is easily the nicest I've ever seen. As part of the weekend's package, all these places are free. The tanning room, the sauna, and the steam room. I never went to a steam room before. It's interesting, but too hot for me. And the roar of the steam pipe sounds like a dragon. It's fun, but I got out pretty quick. The first pool is sort of indoors. It is actually under a canopy of glass called the biosphere. My wife says the glass is treated to protect you from the harmful UV rays, while allowing the sun to give you a tan. It worked. I got a nice color for this first weekend of spring. The pool was built with children and childlike adults in mind. It is only 4 feet deep, but is nearly Olympic size in length. It has rocks built in like the Blue Lagoon, and you can rest your drink on them while you talk to your friends and family. In the far corner there is a waterfall that covers a cave. When you go through the cave entrance, there's a room for about 4 or 5 people to sit on a rock shelf and talk, but the echo from the waterfall is very loud. Then you swim up to the other wall, and the glass of the biosphere comes down to meet it. Here is an opening for a tunnel with car wash flaps to keep the cold air out. And when you go through this, you are suddenly in the outdoor pool. This pool is heated to like 95 degrees, so even though it was 50 degrees outside, you were perfectly warm as long as you kept your shoulders under the water. And since the sun was shining brightly all weekend, the temperature didn't feel like cold anyway. The spa encourages relaxation, obviously, so you can have a mineral drink or a liquor drink. They don't care, just as long as you don't spill it in the pool. I drank Pepsis while Bob and Paul had Bloody Marys. Everyone was talking about how delicious the Bloody Marys were. After the pool, you can go into one of 4 jacuzzis. One is set at 105 degrees, so to me that's like the surface of the sun. One is at a comfortable 98 degrees. One is set to 85 degrees, which is surprisingly cold, and had a waterfall to give you more of a chill. And the last one is set at 50 degrees for crazy people to close their pores before they go into the eucalyptus essence steam room. I jumped in the 50-degree pool about 6 or 7 times during the weekend, just for the experience. It makes you feel like your whole body has pins and needles when you get out. Bob loved her hair and nail treatments, and especially loved the little things. For instance, they give her a cup of hot green tea with a rose petal encrusted in sugar. You drop the rose petal into the hot cup and watch it dissolve in the tea. She doesn't usually take sugar with her tea, but how can you pass up something as nice as that? And one of the real selling points to me was when Barbara showed me the restaurant's menu that she printed out from the spa's website. I thought it would be all wheat germ and alfalfa sprouts, but they had real food with plenty of meat dishes. What made it healthy is that the food was mostly organic and had been prepared as nutritiously as possible without any preservatives and unhealthy additives. We had 3 delicious meals there. For lunch I had a Philly cheesesteak, Paul had the black bean burger, and we both had the cabbage soup. Barbara had the buffalo chicken strips. For dinner, Paul had the steak and crab cake, I had the crab stuffed chicken, and Bob had the butternut squash ravioli. And for an appetizer we had baba ganoush. For breakfast, well, we had pancakes and eggs, but with this unbelievable Canadian maple syrup. I'm the only person I ever heard of who gained weight at a health spa, and I was only there for 30 hours. But we had a tremendous time. The weather was great, the facilities all top-notch, the workers were all friendly and helpful, and the other guests all looked very happy. Some couples, some small families, some big family reunions. After a long, hard winter, we were looking forward big time to this first day of spring. This March 21st trip, and it was just what the doctor ordered. We plan on making this an annual event. As they say at the end of a yoga session, namaste from the Federer.